Oh, it says we're live, Tom, without an opening or anything. I'm disappointed. We always got to put the orange intro stuff in there. There we go.
Oh, there it goes.
Hi, everybody. It's High Noon, episode 21 of Once Upon a Time in Spaghetti Westerns, the podcast. I'm Jay Jennings.
I'm Tom Betts.
And we're here every Friday at noon PST, 3 p.m. EST, 9 p.m. Euro time ET. And of course, at 8 p.m. in the UK time. So this is a special episode, and we're going to get it started right after our usual intro. Usual intro. I'm not getting any sound on my end. Can you hear me, Tom? Well, Tom, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Anyway, welcome everybody to episode 21 to Once Upon a Time in Spaghetti Westerns. I am Jay Jennings, Spaghetti Westerns collector. My co-host, as always, is the great Tom Betts, Spaghetti Western historian. We've been doing this a long time. We're big fans, geeks, nerds. We are the Spaghetti Western posse, as well as you out in YouTube and Facebook land. And we want to thank you for joining us. Today we have a special topic, Tom. And it'd be nice to know where it is. There it is. It's the worst spaghetti westerns ever made, Tom. Didn't you guys?
There's a lot of them.
You at Westerns All'Italiana and the magazine covered this back in issues, 55 and 56? What do you got there? Here, show the audience, Tom. That's the cover. Crude, but sufficient.
First we did 55, and there were so many that we had to do a second issue, 56, to cover the rest of them. So there's a ton.
No, there's many, and you can maybe say hundreds if you're really critical. But in my estimation, there's maybe 25 to 50 that they're spaghetti westerns, good for them, but they're not really top 10, top 20. They're making the opposite list that you'd want to make. But I don't think the filmmakers intended. Enzo, Corbucci, they all made a clunker or two, Tom.
Yeah, they're all Trinity ripoffs, or they're really cheap productions made at Cave Studios, which was Gordon Mitchell's homemade town. So you can really tell just by the effects and the production values that the worse they are, the worse the film is. There's some of these that have name actors in them that basically walked off the set because they were so bad.
Right, and no, there's lots of them. Some people feel the Dean films.
All of them, yeah. There's some
right, the Fellini movies. Although I see him as actually a good director.
Yep.
So
Mario Cano films, yeah.
Right, eat beans and a beer, and I'll see you later. Which I included, Tom, as a special surprise for you. What's it called? Two karate players and a bean eater, or what is it called?
Karate fists and beans, yes.
Wow. Anyway, so. Here's the special part of today's show that I almost was.
There you go.
Okay.
You're back.
I guess when I move, all of you in our fan base, this is going to be our interaction show where we're going to ask you to name your 1, 2, or 3 worst spaghetti westerns, and in your comment, give a quick description why. Like, for example, when we get down to White Comanche, which, if you thought I wasn't going to include, you're crazy. It was Captain Kirk's Indian war cry, Khan! Before it was a Khan, 20 years prior to Khan.
Magic mushrooms, yes.
Right. So, or maybe the white and the yellow and the black, another Elton John album that we like. Oh, that's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Okay. So please, in your comments, 1 or 2 titles and why. A quick 4 or 5 sentencer. Anyway, we're going to obviously, me being the poster collector, we're going to get to the posters of these, and they're all alphabetical because that's easy for two old fogies like Tom and I. And we're going to begin it with a film that Craig Hill walked out on, Tom.
That's correct. You can see how this one started. It was a Trinity ripoff. Guy riding a bicycle and his brother being pulled behind, and they go into a town and there are a couple of con men, and they fall in love with a local doctor who's being harassed by the town tyrant, who is Craig Hill. But halfway or 3/4 of the way through the movie, Craig Hill had enough and walked off the set. So it was peaceful. Yeah, that's how bad
great
it was.
lore in spaghetti western. I mean, they have him in Hollywood, and you hear the tantrums of major stars out here. But when in spaghetti westerns, it was so bad, even Craig Hill walked off the set.
Right. You can see where his credit is, Jay. He's been moved down to the bottom. He was probably up where Vasily Karras was to begin with, and then when he walked off, they moved him down to the bottom.
Right, and of course, we're talking about An Animal Called Man.
Yep.
Has other titles, but that's the main one that I think kills it in the first 5 seconds, Tom.
Yep.
So anyway, let us know what your favorite, or I guess it could be fun. It could be your favorite bad film. Doesn't mean it's necessarily one that gives you a headache or you just won't sit through. Like an Ed Wood film, Plan 9 sucks.
Sometimes they're so bad they're good, yeah.
It's so fun, right? Okay, so we're going to keep going, Tom, while the people leave their comments. Where will we be without Bad Kids of the West, Tom?
Jay, I finally saw this within the last month. It was one of those that I read about and never could find. It was on YouTube. And as a typical, and the Italians made several of these children movies, Bugsy Malone ripoffs, where the kids play adults and they hear about a bank robbery that's going to happen, so they intercept the outlaws and make life miserable for them. And it's got little jokes like they pee in a guy's beer jar. There's a dwarf in it. The kid with the two guns there, this Kid Terror of the West, he's nicknamed, and it's just a lot of slapstick stuff, a lot of bar fights.
Yeah,
it's just
Tom,
terrible. Yeah,
it's one of the worst spaghetti westerns ever made.
Yeah,
it's probably a top 3. And I thought about putting it in a kind of favorite, least to best, but we're doing alphabetically, so commenting is due when necessary. It's just, I'm surprised Leif Garrett isn't in it, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, let's move aside. We saw we're sharing some of your favorite bad films. We'll continue with a film that, Tom, is on the list of Westerns all'Italiana. I don't think it's that bad, but it is Bad Man's River, Tom. It's
on every list that's been made. It's one of those films where it doesn't know whether it wants to be a comedy, a drama. It's full of double crosses. I mean, James Mason does not even include this on his filmography. He will not admit that he was in this movie. That's how bad it is.
Right. No.
Then you've got the one that amazes me, and I always forget about it. Johnny Garco's in this, and yet he's down here kneeling, but he barely is mentioned in any of the books about spaghetti westerns that Johnny Garco's in. He plays almost a cameo role as one of Lee's gang members.
Yeah. No, it's not bad. To me, it's a little Barquero. It's a little Captain. It's a little.
No, don't mention that Apache. One. Yeah.
So it's a little of everything in Bad Man's River.
Everybody's got their own taste.
Right. Okay. Maybe if I took that off, that would be nice. Anyway, so we're going to be going through a lot. I'm just going to throw out some quick names, Tom, before we even get started. We mentioned the Captain Apache, of course, White Comanche, and the show would be incomplete without Whiskey and Ghosts.
Of course.
Right. But anyway, let's get to the next spaghetti western film that we would pass on, although this one's another one I would not pass on. It's got debauchery, rape, murder, just what a Klaus Kinski film should have, Tom. But The Beast is on the list, Tom.
Yeah, we've covered this before when we did the Klaus Kinski podcast, and I mean, I call it a biography of Klaus Kinski. I think they just paid him some bucks and turned him loose, and he did his thing. And you follow his adventures, and it's basically what he would do in normal life.
But don't you think it's still a good film, Tom? He's violent. He's Klaus.
Oh, he's violent. Yeah. If you're a Kinski fan, you probably can take it. If you're not a Kinski fan, you go, oh no. I'll take 10
Right.
minutes of this and it's go off.
The poster's fantastic.
Oh yeah,
and I
poster's great.
Yeah, and I actually, as I said, there's not too many films Klaus makes that I don't like, even when he sounds like a librarian. You know, here, take this gun, and then read
Southern
chapter
accent,
4
yeah.
of this
Little
book that I
Southern accent.
suggest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, which one of you wants to fight now? So anyway,
Put him up.
right, coming from Klaus, when he's really saying, "Put him up." Anyway. Let's move on, Tom, to the aforementioned. This is considered, now Lee Van Cleef, who is probably the legend with Clint, but he made more films. I put Lee actually, if we ever do, or we will do a Lee Van Cleef episode coming up with the author of a book
Mike
on
Malloy,
LVC.
yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so Lee Van Cleef could arguably be called the greatest spaghetti Western actor of all time.
Oh, I
mean,
agree.
there's no two
I
ways.
agree.
He's the top of the list. I
Yeah.
mean, if you argue with it, you better have some good explanations. But that doesn't mean LVC, these are basically the Elvis of spaghetti Westerns, Tom. It doesn't mean he didn't make at least maybe a half a dozen really bad movies. I don't mind Captain Apache. If you cut out the song,
The
it's
singing
not
is
bad.
terrible.
It's
Yeah.
10 Little Indians, Tom.
Yeah. It's also, what's the Bronson movie on the train?
Where Bronson sings? Oh,
No.
Red Sun?
No. It's American movie. He's on the train. He's a detective. Jill
Oh,
Ireland's in it. Breakheart Pass.
Right.
It's sort of like
Breakheart Pass
Breakheart
Punk.
Pass, the spaghetti Western version. Yeah. But the movie's okay, but again, the singing just kills you.
Right. Oh, here we go. One, A Genius and Two Partners.
Oh, God.
We reviewed that
good
too,
one,
didn't we, Tom?
Yeah, that's a goodie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
we sort of
bad.
mentioned that under the Kabuchi and just left it.
Okay, here's Tom on both our lists, Charlie One Eye.
Oh. I saw this on TV, and another one of those I'd read about for a long time, and finally saw it, and I'm going, why? I mean, it's just brutality. Poor Roy Finnis gets the crap knocked out of him from both sides on this. He's an Indian, and Richard Roundtree was been court-martialed and is on the run from the army, and he takes the crap out of Finnis, and they really need each other to defend themselves against a bounty hunter, which is Nigel Davenport. It's filmed in a terrible set of just ruins, and Charlie One Eye is a pet chicken of Roy Finnis. And finally, at the end, towards the end, Roundtree has enough of it and kills the chicken. No more of this. No more. Terrible.
Right, well, Roundtree was in Joshua or something, and
Richard Roundtree was.
or was that Fred Williamson? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Fred
Roundtree was.
Williamson made a great movie, An Escaped Slave. I'm not going to use the word, but it has the expletive in the film, and The Legend of Blank Charlie, and it's a great film. The poster is just him in a bar over like 12, at the top of the line guns, pistols, and he's just standing there. And I think it was also called something like Freedom Costs or something. They changed the title to avoid using the name that's in there.
Roundtree was in the like the 007 movie with the big hit record. I can think of the song, but I can't think of his name in it. Talking about I'll think of it.
Oh, it'll come to you later, Tom. Let's move on to a classic, Tom.
Oh,
Even
now
Django
we
has
sort
a
of
limit.
like this one because it's got our buddy Jeff Cameron in it. So, but the problem is the supporting cast. You've got Ramon, who's the lead villain, and he's Inept Brothers, and the fights in this thing are just terribly choreographed, and they're laughable. And the Pickwick fight scene is another one, and he's another sub character. And the subplots and the fight scenes are just horrendous.
I think that was
Jeff Cameron.
That was an alternate title, Tom. Ramon and his Inept Brothers.
Even Django has his price, is what I've got it as, but it's a bunch of them.
Ramon and his Inept Brothers. Anyway, these are all bad, but actually what's fun about a spaghetti Western, unlike real movies like Ishtar or Showgirls, which maybe some people think is fun. After 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm out of here. You know, right up there with Chud 2 and what other one that I really can't say? E.T. I just can't sit through these movies for 10 minutes without, you know, having to light one up or get a six-pack.
Yep.
But anyway, so let's move on to our list, Tom. By the way, as I said, these are like fun movies, so it's not like you don't have to watch them. Please send in your recommendations. And it looks like we're getting a few here as people show up today's podcast, which is broadcast live, but it's also archived. So if you watch this at a later date, please feel free to add your favorite worst film into the comment section. Okay, I think our next one, Tom, is it Anything for a Friend?
Yeah, Anything or Everything for a Friend. This one's so bad the secondary character actors change their names and Americanize them so you don't know who the hell they are. I mean, it's Red Carter and Bud Randall. Who in the hell is Bud Randall?
The poster is really good, though, Tom. I love the guns coming out of the money, but that's all you're going to get.
Yep, about a bunch of miners and double crosses and stuff like that. Again, full of fist fights and stuff like that, but it's terrible.
Yeah, it's a lot of slapstick nonsense. Yep. I get Sebastian doesn't like Now They Call Him Sacramento. I don't. That's not a film. I don't think that's too bad.
No, I wouldn't put that on a list. But you know, everybody's got their own taste.
What would like Django's Cut Bright Corpses, Tom?
There you go. Yeah, that's the other title. Yep.
Or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's it. Cut Right Corpses. Yep.
Right. So anyway, another one, Tom, is probably the nadir of Robert Woods' career. He's made 3 or 4 clunkers.
Yeah.
That's, of course, 4 Candles for My Colt.
This one's difficult to watch because he's in a rage the whole movie. And he told us in our interview that he didn't get along with the director on this. So I guess that put him in the mood that when he acts, he's just on a rage through everything. He's always got his teeth gritted. He's got evil coming out and flashes of lightning coming out of his eyes. And he's just not the Robert Woods that we're used to. And this one's a bit hard to take. So I think, to me, this is the worst Robert Woods film.
Yeah, you know, it could be. It's up there with the Yugoslavian version of... it's going to get to me, 8 Killers for a Massacre or something. I don't know. So we discussed that film last week. We discussed so many films, Tom, they get jangled and confused. But anyway, another film in that noirish, in that netherworld, Tom, was, we're going to get to the nadir of it. Basically, this is probably considered one of the worst spaghetti western films in the history of spaghetti westerns. I find it interesting. I once told a friend of mine as he was drinking a soda, this was as a joke, I wanted to see what would happen. Would he choke? Would he not do anything? I said, dude, I'm a big Lee Van Cleef fan. He goes, so am I. And he rattled off some of his best films, but I also love God's Gun. And the soda came out his nose, his ears, his mouth. It's pretty bad, even when you have 2 legends like Lee Van Cleef and Jack Palance and Richard Boone.
Richard Boone, yeah.
So what were they thinking, Tom?
Well, the double Lee Van Cleef, because you get him as Father John and you get him as his brother, which you think, wow, this would be great. But the dubbing is terrible. Jack Palance plays he sort of stands back and lets his sons do all the kicking and the biting and the slashing and the raping and everything else while he sits on the sidelines and smiles and laughs. And then you've got, of course, our favorite, Leif Garrett, who, thank God, he becomes mute, so you don't have to listen to him, but you still have to watch him the entire 90 minutes. The only good part of this is our buddy, our friend, what's her name? bring the poster back up.
For who?
God's Gun.
It's right there, Tom.
Yeah, I can't see it. You got it minimized.
I can't even see who's in there. Let's move on, Tom. We will move on.
But yeah, the dubbing is terrible. Richard Boone's voice is absolutely terrible, and he's only in it like a cameo role in a couple of scenes where they bring him in to arrest some of the Palance gang.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the one where he's dresses like a librarian and talks like one too. His name was
Yeah,
King Tom.
yeah, this one.
What do you think about this one? It's not bad if you get
Well,
over the laughing.
my problem with this one is it's sort of like Twice a Judas. Everybody in the movie seems to know that Klaus Kinski is the rat who killed or uh, Harrison's turns out to be his wife or his sister, brother, whatever. But everybody in the movie seems to know that he's the culprit, except Richard Harrison. So it goes on for 90 minutes with him like playing this wimpy, soft voice pal of Richard Harrison, and he's really the culprit, the main villain in the movie. So that's why I don't care for it.
Anything Klaus is in, I always enjoy. I don't care what it is. But his spaghetti westerns, and I would put him up there with Lee Van Cleef too, Tom, in the upper echelon
Oh yeah,
of spaghetti western actors. Even though he made a ton of movies in other genres, it's just he's in so many spaghetti westerns. And you named Twice a Judas, which is one of my favorites, actually. Anything that Antonio Sabato does or says in that movie it's funny. His expressions, but Klaus is always there. We'll talk about that on another when we do our second Klaus show. Anyway, Tom, another classic title is "I Came, I Shot, I Conquered, I Saw, I Had
yeah.
Lunch,
I
I Had
came, I
Dinner,
saw,
I
I
cheated with my
shot.
ex-girlfriend."
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is probably Enzo Castellari's worst for me. There's pictures or scenes in the movie where they zoom in on poor John Saxon and his mustache. He must have shaved it off or something, but you can see it painted on his upper lip. It glistens with the light from the camera on it, and it's nothing but fist fights and double crosses, and it just doesn't seem to go anywhere at all. It's just a mess as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Even Frank Wolf can't pull this one up.
the great Frank Wolf. So anyway, Tom, let's take a look at. Oh, I made sure this was on the list, Tom. No worst spaghetti western completists should live their life without a little bit of Jesse and Lester, Tom.
Oh, Jesse and Lester, two brothers in a place called Trinity. I mean, this is Richard Harrison really thinks this is his best work because he directed it, wrote it, he's in it, and he's okay in it. But the brothers Donald O'Brien and Richard Harrison become heirs to a fortune, and they both want to split the money different ways. Harrison wants to order up a bordello, and Donald O'Brien wants to start a church. So I mean, you're complete opposites of the spectrum, and so they fight all the way through the movie on who's going to get the money and where it's going to be spent.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty bad. I mean,
it's pretty bad.
We're giving it more time than it actually deserves. Yeah, I mean, we love Richard Harrison, but yeah, not a great film. Let's get to another bottom barrel, Tom. It's part of the. Oh no, I'm sorry. I skipped one? Let's see. I next on the list I had Kid Vengeance, but I think I forgot another fan favorite, Tom.
Karate Fist of Beans. Yeah.
I mean, this is Dean Reed's worst film, if that's possible.
Exactly. Yeah, it's another one of those we've talked about before, where they want to try and make chop-socky movies and westerns compatible with each other, and it's like when they try and do a drama and a comedy, they just don't mesh. And so this whole movie is just a mess.
Look at the poster.
Yeah,
it's
look
horrific.
At the poster, tells it all. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Terrible.
Right. It certainly is, Tom. It's good to have a laugh at these films' expenses because there's so few. As I said, I don't know what I was being facetious. 100 spaghetti westerns you may not like. There might be 25 that you might like. Oh, do I have to watch this one? Unless you're a critic or a fan like Tom or I, and you write about these films, there's no reason not to enjoy them. I mean,
yeah.
Your opinion is just like ours. You know, we're just
when we talked to Tim Ferrati, he told me a long time ago that you can divide the spaghetti western genre into thirds. There's about a third of them that are pretty good, and 10% that are great. There's a third that are just they're okay. Then there's a third that are pretty bad, and another 10% at the bottom that are just horrendous. So that's how he ranks them.
Well, the Kung Fu Bros in the Wild Wild West. We love William Berger and Donald O'Brien, sometimes Donald without the D.
Yep. But they've got small parts in this. It's all about the Chinese actors. And basically it was produced and directed by Chinese production crew and a director. And the Western part, it looks like they've never made a Western before. So they try and make it a Kung Fu movie with a Western atmosphere. And that's about as close as they get. It's basically all Kung Fu movie.
See, look, Fighters of Ave Maria. I actually like that movie, Tom.
Yep, me too.
See, it's all a matter of taste. Some people, as I said, our good friend Professor Williams is a fan of Little Rita. That's like nails on a chalkboard.
But I think, Jay, too, we've talked about this before. I think it depends on what version you see. If there's a cut version or a long version, what language you see it in. Because a lot of times the people tell me they would much rather watch the Italian version than like Django than the English version. So if you understand Italian and see it, you say, wow, that's a great movie. You and I see a movie in English and go, my God, that thing's terrible. It's not translated correctly.
Get rid of the Little Rita singing parts. I've said this. I'm trying to say this every other show. Get rid of the singing parts. And just put in some more B-roll or whatever of Terrence's Django or whatever, and I'm good. Or what I have to do as an editor, filmmaker, is I'll take the film, and I haven't done this yet because I don't have the patience. We're talking about a bottom barrel for me. Take 20 minutes, 30 minutes out, throw it up into my favorite non-linear, cut out all the singing parts, and you have a 50, 60-minute kick-ass Django movie, but that's not the reality of it, Tom. You have to, every 5 minutes, prepare yourself for the anti-Tina Turner. Yeah,
it's got some good ideas in it with the Django character and the stagecoach rolled up and the Indian. And I mean, what was...
I know, listen, we were going to get to Little Rita later. She was actually a surprise of mine here, but while we're at it, you have to understand, I don't hate Rita. Perron, what's her name, Tom?
Rita Pavone.
Yeah. So she was cute, actually. So that's not the problem.
But her voice is irritating.
Right. It's not. She's not Anne Margaret and Tommy. She's not Tina Turner and Tommy. And who else is there? She's not even. Who else?
Well,
I mean, she's not even Joey Heatherton doing her Vegas act.
Which
she's trying to do.
I'll show my age. She's Ethel Merman. She's that tiny voice that's really scratchy.
Well, listen, I was going to wait. So.
Terrible.
I guess I'll go forward with it. Well, since we're yapping about Little Rita, might as well put her on the screen and give her due. Poster is kick-ass.
Yeah.
With Django in the background, but I'd rather see Goldie Hawn as Rita in the West.
Yeah.
I'd rather see Joyce Bulifant, who is this 70s TV actress. You know what I mean? Anybody.
Yeah.
But this chick, it's just getting good. They smoking peace pipe. And then she sings right out of nowhere. As I said, put on Once Upon a Horse instead with Rowan and Martin, the great duo who brought you laughing. It's funny as hell. Put on Sheriff for Fractured Jaw. Put on a Bob Hope. What's the one? Put on the one. What's her name? Virginia May. Who plays that hot?
Oh, you're talking about.
What? I thought I lost you, Tom.
The Jesse James movies with what's her name?
Bob Hope or Virginia Mayo with Don Knotts, the shakiest gun in the West. These are films that aren't that good, but they're better than Rita. And because I'm talking about it, or we are, people are going to want to see this for themselves. I think it's on YouTube. You will fast forward through the singing parts. If she was here, she's what is she, 84, 85? I'd say, Rita.
Yeah, she's around 80. there's parts where they've got
She would tell,
cowboys
right. She would tell me to
dancing
F
on.
off.
They've got parts where there's cowboys dancing on the balconies and on the roofs. It looks like Mary Poppins. I mean,
Mary
it's just like,
Poppins meets the
oh,
Magical Mystery Tour, Tom.
yeah.
I'm still waiting
Terrible.
for, we are the Ritas. Anyway, so classic. It's my favorite worst film in that it is just horrific. I would watch God's Gun twice as a double bill over this. Anyway, so let's continue, folks, to today's topic: the worst spaghetti westerns ever made. That's how Casey Kasem would say today's topic: the
and
worst
number
spaghetti
4.
westerns. That's right. Stay tuned, and you'll find out: is Metallo really Tom's worst, or is he just putting us on? Also, don't forget, patience has a limit. We don't. Perfect title, Tom.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's like tedium is tedious. Yes.
Oh man, sometimes they just spell themselves. You're right,
Yeah,
Tom.
that's
but of
right.
course, and a sting in the West is a sting on your brain, Tom.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on. I've not seen this film, Tom. I've seen 550, maybe 560. I own over 400, but I have not seen Lucky Johnny, Tom.
Oh, I put down, Jay, Lucky Johnny. A good idea goes south. This starts off fantastic. Little kid out in the desert, going to be bit by a rattlesnake. He's saved by a drummer. The drummer is a coffin maker. He goes around from town to town, burying people, putting them, he's Undertaker on the go. There's a couple of great scenes in here. There's one of them going through a mountain with the town down below. It looks like a Bava type of thing where he puts the background in behind the camera and before CGI stuff. And then all of a sudden the kid grows up and he falls in love with this chick. And the chick, of course, he's either married or has a boyfriend, and then it goes south. And the Undertaker leaves him and he's on his own and he can't cope. And it just goes downhill. But I mean, the first half is fantastic, and then it drops off the edge of the cliff. Like, oh, what a waste.
The poster's not bad. It's very Navajo Joe-like.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, yeah, but it's, okay, so do I really have to see it as a completist, Tom, or what do you think?
No.
You will spare me.
Well, if you want to watch it, Jay, watch the first half and then turn it off, yeah.
Is it as bad as Telly Savalas disappearing from the second half of Sonny and Jed?
Yeah, because the second half was all filmed out in the desert, and it's just blah. There's no scenery. There's nothing.
But I told you, you take away Thomas Millian, put anyone else in, and I'm actually a fan of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing with Thomas Millian. He's a great actor. You keep his eye on him. He's great in the Revolution movies, Run Man Run, or Quien Sabe. And
Companeros, Mercenaries.
Right.
Good. He's almost so good that he sucks you in to his character, and then if you don't like the character, it completely turns you off, like in Sonny and Jed.
Right, and then Blind Man,
Tony Anthony.
Right, where Tony Anthony is doing his best Thomas Millian impression. Yeah, we are the women. Right. No, Thomas Millian is a great actor. He's in a 5 or 6 great spaghetti westerns, but sometimes he takes that character, Kill Django, Django Kill, that weird film.
Exactly.
Those are great. That's fine. It's when you watch films like the one, what's it called, where he wears the big hat, the big mask. I can't even say it. It's that ugly poster where he's wearing that kind of like Brazilian mask, Tom.
Oh, that's that. Yeah, I don't even count it as a western.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But it didn't make the
South
list.
America,
okay.
Right?
But you put Thomas Millian in dreadlocks, and then he appears in a Sonny and Jed, and just kills it, playing that awful. I know he's supposed to be unredeeming and an a-hole, but that works for the Revolutionary.
So, he's so good. He's so good that you hate him. Yeah.
Right, he's doing his job, and he really, of course, it has the one and only Susan George, my wife from a previous life. Susan George is my end-all. With, once again, Gene Tierney, Natalie Wood, Veronica Lake. So, anyway. So let's move on to another. Oh, did we show the poster for Sonny and Jed yet, Tom?
No.
Okay. Well, let's not skip because now it's time for trumpets. Tom's favorite film of all freaking time, the one and only Metallo or Modelo, Tom.
Modelo. There you go. Yep. I hate this thing.
I don't think. Listen, it's annoying, and you have your reasons, which is fine. The boomerangs, I know, kill you. But the poster's fantastic. Not this one. I picked the worst one I could find. I have the great one where they're all shooting at people and it's an artwork. Yeah. But so you didn't see this as a pre-Mad Max, Tom?
This is a remake of Kill the Wickeds, which I like to Kill the Wickeds, but they just go in for brutality and beat the hell out of Lou Castel on this. And the boomerang scene just absolutely fries me. They throw this boomerang from down the street as they show in a poster, and the guy refuses to move 3 feet so he won't get hit the next time they throw the boomerang. It's just
right. And don't we forget? I want to go back to the Sonny and Jed scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks. So, but Tom, what made you? What year? Because you're just a few years older than I am. At what point in your spaghetti western career and being a critic and reviewer did it take you to realize? Was it just the first time you saw it? Like this is an instant. I have to think over time. You've watched it a few times, and you just decided this is the SHIT.
I've seen it a couple of times, Jay. At the ending, the guy's laying in the street, and I swear the first time I saw it, they show like the Rojo house in Fistful of Dollars, and there's a water trough in front of it, and the camera just goes like this, like psychedelic over the ending credits, and I about puked when I saw that. I've seen it a couple of times since, and that scene isn't in there. So either I was smoking something or drank something or whatever, or there's a different version of that ending. But that's another one that went at the end that just threw me off. But yeah, I think I saw it. I don't know. I didn't see it until it was on video. But,
okay, so of course it didn't run out here.
I didn't see Kill the Wickeds before this. I saw Modelo, and I said, this is the worst. And then when someone said, well, I think it was Ollie Lamai said, you got to see Kill the Wickeds. Do I have to? And so I saw it. I'm going, this is the same film because you can see the whole progresses, and it's 10 times better than Modelo. It's not a great film, but it sure isn't bad.
So your absolute bottom of the barrel is Modelo. I call it Metallo because it runs off the tongue better.
Yep.
And mine is Little Rita.
Yep.
Now, even though I do know someone made a comment that, yeah, she does kill and stuff like that. It's like witchy poo killing. Come here, Seymour. And she, hits her wand. That's a 60s in-joke TV show for us kids when we were kids on with Puff and Stuff, witchy poo. But no, as I said, it's you take away the singing and make her a hard ass during the whole time. Anyway, it's miscast. I don't know. We're going back because that's what the show is.
If she'd have been Del Star, it would have worked.
Wow, that's right. Anyway, Little Rita's kept me up at night. I'm just like, I'd be working, and I'd hear that, now she starts singing, smoking peace pipe. So
doing the slapping the knee dancing, the
lime dancing.
Yeah, I mean, Brenda Lee would have been better in that than
Brenda Lee. Yeah. Awesome, Tom. You should have casted Spaghetti Western.
Brenda Lee. Yeah, we'll do it. Why don't you do how old is Brenda now? About 75? Maybe you know who else?
Tom, Susan Lyon.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yep.
Isn't she?
She's gone now. Yeah.
Right. Isn't she Lolita?
She's Lolita. Yep.
Yeah. I want you to run away with me. Forget about that young man of yours. Now stop talking. And she'd be chewing gum. When you get it off I'm not going anywhere. Yes, you're coming with me. Lolita's my favorite. With Susan, my favorite Susan Lyon film, and James Mason as well. Although James Mason isn't bad in Mandingo. How many expletives did he use coming out of his mouth?
I don't. You sit there and count. Yeah, exactly. I mean,
right. In the last 5 seconds of Mandingo, James Mason must, use the N-word 20 times.
Yeah, exactly.
That all while, Ken Norton's falling, into the fountain.
You've seen some of these videos on YouTube where they count the kill shots during a film. They should have James Mason doing the cuss word count.
Wow. I mean, talk about the nadir of a great career. You know, but anyway, that's what this show is about. If it comes up that a great actor made a crappy film like Lee or Jack Palance and James Mason, so be it. This is another one, Peter Martell venturing out of his character, Tom.
Perfect title. This one translates in English to "Patience has a limit. We don't." And that's what the audience says after about 10 minutes. We don't have any patience for this piece of crap. These two guys, Peter Martell, and I love Peter Martell, but him and Sal Borghese play brothers, and they don't get along at all. The whole scene at the beginning is you hear all those fisticuffs inside of a house. They don't show anything. They just show the outside of the house. And their mother gets so tired of them, she tells them to go to town and find their brother and learn how to be a man. Gordon Mitchell's the brother, and they just fail at everything. It's just absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I watched 10 minutes of this film. Actually, Savage Guns isn't bad in my opinion, between you and me, Tom.
Okay, I will let it out. Yeah.
See, but it didn't make your list, so I didn't include it. Okay. Anyway, did we show the poster for Sonny and Jed? I want to show it again.
No, we didn't show it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as I said, see our taste. Savage Guns I find oddly entertaining. So as I said, Thomas Milian, Telly Savalas, great cast, Susan George.
I just don't understand how she sees anything in Tomas Milian.
He basically raped her.
Yeah, he's so repulsive, yet she falls in love with him and wants to be an outlaw like him. And I'm going, my God, a Rock is better than this guy. And he treats her like hell once they join up. Right. And she stays with him.
She's just captured her accent, Straw Dogs, anything she's in. House
she's fantastic.
And she
when I'm saying about Susan George, I'm talking about her character, Sonny. I just don't see.
They should. How about this? During the, and I think I said this to you once before. During the screen test for this film, ditch the Jed.
Yeah.
And just call it Sonny, and she is like a female Billy the Kid, and maybe she ends up making more spaghetti westerns.
If she'd have fallen in love with the fact that he's got all these people at his beck and call because he's this badass bandit, and that's what she wants to be, to prime herself into being something more than she is. So she joins up with Jed for a couple of scenes and learns how to be a badass bandit, and then bumps him off and goes on herself. And
that would have made it higher in the cult stratosphere. Yeah. As I said, it's not a bad movie to me. As I said, Milian, he's made great films. This is not one of them. She steals the show, and of course, any scene that Telly Savalas is in.
Oh yeah.
He steals the show, and I have a great autograph I'll show of a future. Of course, I have a Susan George when I met her, and I rattled off. I said, and she says, "You remember Sonny and Jed?" I'm like, "Are you kidding?" That's what I go to sleep to at night. But that right, we're in the barn scene.
Yep.
But she signed for me, and. Anyway, I lost track because whenever I talk about her, I lose track. Anyway, something about the movie. Oh yeah, I have an autograph of Susan George, and it's a rare shot of it's a what do you call it? It's a candid, so it wasn't part of the film. And, okay, take this shot, baby, and it's Susan George straddling Telly's left leg when they're both holding guns. It's very sexual. They're not supposed to get along in the film, so to have a candid of them getting cozy,
in costume, are they in costume?
They're in costume. They're both wearing Telly is bare-chested, wearing a long fur coat. It's awesome.
Right. It's got like a fur coat duster. Yeah,
right. And she's holding a gun near his crotch. So anyway, one of these days I'll maybe go more into detail on my spaghetti western autograph collection. But anyway. So let's move on, Tom. I think we've gave Sonny and Jed a little bit too much screen time, but that's fine. It's not a bad film if you just concentrate on Susan. It's like if I'm. Okay, let's move on, Tom. I could keep going. Here's one that's not Tom. I've only seen 10 minutes of it. It was a way to capitalize by using the name Spaghetti Western. What was Franco Nero thinking, Tom?
Well, when I was with Enzo a couple of years ago, Chris Casey and I and John Crummett spent the day with him, and him and his son Andrea, and we asked him about spaghetti western. He said, "Well, which one?" I said, "Well, the one called spaghetti western." He had never heard that the American title was spaghetti western. They knew it as Cipolla Colt, and the English translation originally was Cry Onion, because Nero's an onion farmer that they discover oil on his property. But the worst part about it, Jay, is the dubbing. The guy who dubbed the English voice of Franco Nero does it as Jimmy Stewart.
Welcome to Spaghetti Western,
Exactly,
Tom.
exactly. And it's just absolutely terrible. He rides around on a bicycle in these oil fields. With
Look over there. Look over there.
Sterling Hayden is in it, plays a publisher. And yeah, that's Emma Cohen plays his daughter.
Well, what was Nero?
Daughter. So
why did Enzo make this film?
I don't know. You know who else is in this one?
From what I saw,
this is how bad it is. You know who else is in it? Dick Butkus, the NFL player, plays one of the toughs in it. I'm going to.
That should have been the giveaway, Tom.
Should have been giveaway. Yep. But it's not watchable.
No, as I said, I watched 10 minutes. Is that right up there with the Lemonade Kid, Tom, or is that different?
Yeah, Lemonade Kid is fantastic. that's worth a watch. Yeah, that was
okay.
It's another one that's so different and bad. It's watchable.
Okay, so let's move on, Tom, to, well, I didn't know Joe Namath made a spaghetti western, but you wanted to include The Last Rebel, Tom.
Oh, absolutely terrible. Yeah, and again, Woody Strode is in it, Jack Elam is in it, Ty Hardin is in it. You think, wow, this is going to be really good, but it stinks. It absolutely stinks. And Joe Namath basically plays Joe Namath. You know, he full hustler,
42,
con man.
37.
Yeah. So they finally throw in Woody Hayes. Woody Strode rescues a little black boy behind him from the Ku Klux Klan.
It would have been better with Woody Hayes, Tom.
Yeah, it would have been. And Namath sort of helps him because he's Woody's friend from the Civil War. But it's just absolutely terrible. All the good scenes with Elam and Woody and Ty are just.
Yeah, didn't they already make this with James Garner and Lou Gossett, Tom? What was that called?
Yeah. The one where he's a slave.
Yeah.
And sells him. Yeah, Scalp Hunters.
Something like that. I think I know it as another title, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's terrible. And the music is really bad. It's got one of the worst scores. I think it's Gardner. Oh, it was a rock group from the 60s.
The Gardeners?
It's just terrible, huh?
Mow the lawn, baby. Anyway, let's take a look at the aforementioned Tedium. I don't think I showed the poster, Tom.
No, you spelled it wrong.
I got the rare video, the Magnum video cassette, Tom. That's about $300 on eBay.
Spelled it wrong. It's supposed to be STINK of the West.
But it's worth about $5. You know, there's a huge, I don't even have to tell the people who collect this, just like I do, Tom. I used to be one of the largest VHS collectors on the planet. I think I had 4,000 or 5,000, like a video store, of every genre you could imagine, mostly cult. And then the DVDs came out. I'm talking about this because looking at this video cover brings back memories. And that's all you had. Then DVDs came out, but I said, a lot of stuff isn't going to come out. But I was wrong. A lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
So I ended up selling my VHS collection, a couple of Betamaxes, all 4,000, to a collector out near where I live in one of the local trades, and I got a good deal for them. And then you go, it's like anything else, Tom. You go from VHS, or Betamax to DVD, to high definition, to Blu-ray, to now 4K, soon it'll be 8K. You'll be able to, you already can see the perspiration on these actors already. Now you'll see, the pop marks and. But that's the greatness about, I guess, technology, Tom. It starts off with a Sting of the West video cover.
well, again, hotter than Blazing Saddles.
That should have just made you put that video back and grab another one.
Hotter than Blazing Saddles. That'll be.
Well, I think I mentioned this. I can't take Jack in a monk's outfit. I just can't. You like the monk outfit? No, I don't. Anyway, Tom, this is on the list. I have to disagree, but you tell me why. I actually, of course, for Stella Stevens, I enjoy A Town Called Hell. It's got Robert Shaw, Martin Landau as the Colonel, and Telly Baby. What's wrong with this film, Tom?
It's another one of these. At 10 minutes after you watch it, you know who Aguilar is, and then all of a sudden Telly disappears, and it's just like what a mishmash. They don't know they don't know how to take this thing along. They've got a story, but they don't have a screenplay, and it just goes from this scene to that scene to this scene to that scene without any,
Tom, I think I messed up. I think I said
continuity.
Telly disappears in this film, not in Sonny and Jed.
Yeah, I think they hang him in this one, but upside down or something. But it's like, get me out of here. So what are we going to do with your character? Well, we'll hang you and get you out of the way.
This is a Euro Western, Tom.
Yeah.
Not really a spaghetti Western. I mean, I didn't think
exactly.
it was
It's a British American.
Oh, British production? Okay, they dabbled in that.
Filmed in Spain.
Well, you can see who looks the same. Robert Shaw looks just like he did in Swashbuckler, which is one of my favorite guilty delights.
And the Stella Stevens character in the hearse is fantastic. And it's like, wow, this is going to be cool. And then it just disappears.
Oh, okay. I don't think it's that bad, Tom, but that's why we have our different titles on here. You couldn't put Little Rita on. So anyway, let's see what other comments we have. As I'm looking up here.
Tony Williams likes Little Rita, so I took it off the list.
We leave no stone unturned. Yeah, please, as I said, write down one that you don't want to watch. No matter how drunk or stoned you get, you won't watch it. Anyway, let's move on to ours, Tom. And we're getting near the end of the list. We mentioned Whiskey and Ghosts, Tom. You put this on when your wife's left. You've lost your money. You got fired from your job. Your car won't start. And it's Anthony Dawson, Antonio Margheriti. What the hey, Tom?
Maybe I hate this because this is one that I had read again about multiple times, and it came on like Turner Network at 2:00 in the morning one time. And I set the alarm clock and got up to watch this thing, and they're talking about the ghost of Davy Crockett, played by Fred Harris.
Davy Crockett.
And Tom Scott, another Trinity ripoff. And it's just a fiasco. It's just absolutely terrible. And you think with Anthony Dawson it'd be full of all kinds of stunt work and stuff like that. But no, it's just drags and drags and drags. And then all of a sudden, Davy Crockett pops in again. And he pops out. And he pops back in. It's like, oh, but he's the ghost. It's like,
yeah, it's not Planet of Vampires, Tom.
No, it's terrible.
Anyway, Maribel Martin, though, is pretty hot. So that's about it. So let's see, as we wind down our list, as I said, it could go on and on. You all have your different, oh, okay, good one. You are Carry On and I Kill You.
I will kill you. Yeah, that's a good one. Good one, Brian. Yep.
One of the worst titles for because I'm a title guy.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't make it at all.
No.
So we have a lot. It was Skin Game with Lou Gossett and James Garner.
Skin Game, yeah, that's right.
I remember it was maybe a TV movie.
That was a film. Feature length movie. Yep, Skin Game. Yep.
Right. Thank you, John Nudge, for that.
Yep.
So, Tom, I think. We still have a few more that I guess are special mentions. Okay, let me get to those. Sorry about that, folks. Or I actually mentioned them earlier in the broadcast, but we can't. Oh shit. Whoop, did I just say the S word? I did.
What was in that one?
Okay, hold on. Okay. What I did is I left, a part of me left my body, Tom.
Oh,
and,
out of body.
Sorry for that. I will go back and get rid of that because I do not like to use expletives live on the air.
You're turning into Davy Crockett. Yeah, here we go.
Saved, right. Or who's the Indian in, is that Davy Crockett or Ray Danton?
Ray Danton.
I don't know why I'm thinking of Davy Crockett or Daniel Boone. I loved Daniel Boone when I was a kid. Daniel Boone was a man. He was a big man.
Big man.
And he'd chop down, he'd throw his axe, and a tree would be cut in half. And I thought it actually happened, Tom.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, this is the worst in Corbucci's career. The white, the yellow, the black. I take it's a takeoff on The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's got 3 decent stars, and it is just bad, Tom.
I've never watched this at one sitting.
Wow.
I cannot take Tomas Milian's samurai character. His voice is just grating like Little Rita's. And I think I told you before, the best scene in the whole movie is not in the English version because in the very beginning, Eli Wallach plays the Black, and he's at home, he's sheriff, and he's got all his family sitting around the table, and his wife just starts chewing him out. But she does it in Italian, and she uses nothing but spaghetti Western titles throughout it. Like, you don't earn enough money. You need to get a fistful of dollars. And then when you're done with that, go get a few dollars more and all that kind of crap. But it's in Italian, so when it translates, it means nothing. But in the Italian version, it's fantastic. Yeah.
You know, comments. No, I can't. From the poster, I stayed away. That's Thomas Milian is John Belushi's samurai character.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no thanks. Yep. Eli Wallach playing the same as he did in that movie with Franco Nero where they're hung. Which one is that, Tom?
Yeah, I don't. I can't think of the name. It's got several titles.
Right, and of course Gemma working.
He's a Frenchman.
The worst
he's
that
a Frenchman.
Ever looked. Right,
Forget it. Yeah,
like he's on vacation in Jamaica or somewhere.
Yeah.
But anyway, so okay, let's get that off the screen right away. And then finally, we did mention, for this particular film, for The White, the Yellow, the Black, Tom writes me, please, no more. Please, no more. But anyway, let's end it on a good note. I don't have the poster, Tom, because William Shatner wouldn't loan it to me. But of course, it's White Comanche, not to be confused with Apache Woman, which I used to as a kid.
Or White Apache.
Or White Apache. Right. Okay. If it's for the novelty of knowing who William Shatner is, Captain Kirk, I'm Denny Crane.
Jay, do you know what? Do you remember the Hollywood Celebrity Parade? Used to be on Thanksgiving weekend, the Santa Claus Lane Parade in Hollywood. One year they had Shatner was the what do you want to master? What are they going to? The Grand Marshal.
The Grand Wizard.
Well. The Grand Marshal, and Channel 9 would show a movie after the parade of
hosted by Bill Welsh, Tom.
And after the parade was over, they showed White Comanche. And I'm going, oh my God! Of all the films to show of Shatner, they had to show that. But it's a terrible piece of crap.
And yet he's made a couple great Twilight Zone episodes, Outer Limits.
Exactly.
Right. So but this is one of the nadirs of his career. Just as I think, didn't he make a film in Esperanto? Was a completely another language. It was directed by John Newland, who's a great writer-director of the 60s, and that was another film he made. But my favorite guilty pleasure William Shatner film, you have to see it, it's two titles. I think it's called The Intruder or Little Girl Want a Lollipop. Little Girl Want a Lollipop.
Okay.
And wait a minute. I'm confusing two films.
I
might be confusing two films. Anyway, The Intruder is where he plays a racist, and that's actually not my favorite one, but it's a good film. And he incites this town, and he gets them all in an uproar. And it's a great. I mean, during these times, Tom, it would be crazy to screen.
What was it supposed to be? What time frame? Modern
the mid-'60s in the South Mississippi, and he comes out of nowhere to start a race war. It's a time capsule like you wouldn't believe. That's The Intruder. The film I'm talking about in the William Shatner, and I know I should be cheating and looking up on Wikipedia, and I can't believe it could be little girl want a lollipop. I think that's a Zoe Hall film. That's a completely different film where a grown man falls in love with a younger girl. I collect so many cult films, Tom. Zoe Hall is still with us, by the way. Great actor. Bill Shatner plays a guy who falls in love with a young girl, and Ruth Roman is onto them, and he's got Odd Job Cicada doing his dirty work, and at the end he actually fights Odd Job. Another weird film. Shatner made a lot of crazy stuff outside. Known for Star Trek, but
my favorite Shatner, of course, is The Twilight Zone on the airplane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, looks out the window and the gremlin is there. It's like, oh, God.
Classic scene.
Yeah. But before we go any further, the Richard Roundtree movie I was trying to think of, which he's known for, is Shaft.
Oh yeah, right.
Shaft, yes.
And also,
thanks to
Roy Garrett, it's Impulse. is that William,
Impulse.
he has to
Okay.
control that impulse to want to, go out with this young girl. Oops, crazy. It took me 21 episodes. I stayed clean, Tom. Sorry, folks. All Father art in heaven. I can't believe I did that. And Tom's the one having the
Hard
doozy.
cider.
Yeah, the hard cider. I'm
Unfiltered.
sorry, yeah. So it must be this Almeria weather or Almeria, Tom.
Well, you've had a touch of the COVID, so.
Yeah, I've had a touch of the COVID, Tom.
You probably Jay, you probably caught something from the construction work there.
Right.
All that dust in the air, probably some.
Tom, that was a good laugh. No, I have COVID on the brain,
Some enzyme
Tom.
has come. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed our worst films. As I said, there's other ones. And thanks for sharing. And hopefully down the road in other episodes, we'll share some of your comments and stuff. So let's see, what will that bring to? Oh, we got some other things planned for today, Tom. Let's, I don't know. Let's, should we go to Autograph of the Week? Okay. Mine has actually been showing the whole show, but why don't you want to show yours first?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the book I had last week, which is the Italian Film Directory.
What do you got, Tom?
This is the one I couldn't think of. In God's Gun, Sybil Danning. And
That's when she was hot. Yeah.
Sybil Danning was in God's Gun, played Jack Palance's supposed wife or whatever. That had Leif Garrett. What a combo! But that's my autograph of the week. And I got that at the Hollywood.
Sweet.
I got that at the Hollywood Collectors Show at when it was in Burbank.
Nice. Anyway, what we have here, I think, our guest from a few weeks back, the great writer-director Courtney Joyner. Did he show a Claudia Cardinale? Anyway, I don't remember. Anyway, got this.
I've got an autograph of her when she was at the Sergio Leone exhibit.
Right, and I think that's where I got this, Tom.
Great.
Was that the one in Anaheim?
No, it was at the Autry.
Everything's at the Autry, Tom. If you can see past my computer, let me get it closer.
That's good there.
Yeah, she had a ton of these by her side, and her agent or manager.
Uh-huh.
And she was very nice, and she was impressed. I'm like, yeah, I know my stuff, honey.
Well, what amazed me was at the Autry, the Italian consulate was there, and she told a couple of us that were standing there, she had tried for several years to get Claudia to come over here, and Claudia said, "No one over there knows me." And we're going, "What do you mean?" I mean, next to Gina Lollobrigida, you're probably the most well-known Italian actress of all time. She was in
Bardot.
She was in the what was the Shot in the Dark with Peter Sellers or whatever. I mean, she's been in a bunch of American movies. Yeah. Everybody knows her. She's worldwide known. Yep.
A lot of stars have that self-deprecating about themselves. But she's great. But I keep waiting for her to call to do the show, but that's fine. I won't hold my breath, Tom.
Okay.
So, what's that doing on there? Get off. Oh, they're all on here. Okay. I got a weird fallout, like Matrix green numbers going up and down that you folks can't see. But anyway, Tom, so we get to a book of the week, or
okay.
Okay, let me set up the promo. Bum, and I'll go first, Tom. I don't know. Tom says I did not show this, and I'm praying that I didn't.
Sure.
Okay, it's
we showed
the
a couple
best.
Books similar.
I don't know. It's comparable to Westerns all'Italiana, but these are almost all full size, and it doesn't have any writing. Here is the macaroni posters from Japan. Really, like a couple $100.
Yeah, that's an expensive one.
Let me see if I could show it. Hold on.
The one you showed last week is a cheaper version, which is readily available. That one is hard to find, and it's expensive.
I got to figure out where the camera is. There we go. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting really bad at this. Let me just turn it around.
There you go.
All right, so you got picture after picture, poster after poster. I can't believe I can't show this any better than I am. Hold on, Tom.
It's full page, half page. all kinds of
I
sizes.
really need to figure out how this camera works. Wait, what the heck? Everywhere I go, I can't get away. Okay, there we go.
There you go. Ducky
So
sucker.
it's got a ton of stuff. Great for if you need to find out a title of something. Anyway, I spent too much time. Tom, what's your book of the week?
Mine's a Japanese book. It's all
Did you
in
steal that from the
Japanese.
library, Tom?
I got that at Larry Edmonds, I believe. Let me get the paper out here. This one is, like I said, it's a 2002 book called Macaroni Western no Sabete by Kazuo Kajiwara. It covers 324 films, short descriptions of spaghetti westerns made between 63 and 76, with a short section for actors, directors, music. 254 pages, and it's
Show the cover again, Tom. No, over
not
more.
not much of a cover.
You stole that, Tom.
The back.
Oh,
Like I
man,
said,
that's too funny.
It's
All
all
right.
in Japanese. Got
Well,
plenty
yeah,
of
I read
pictures,
Japanese. That all makes sense to me.
So I did not look to see if this is available or how much it costs, but you'd probably have to go to eBay or Amazon Japan or something.
I hope not. Anyway, Tom, so now it's time for our last and final segment, which Tom always does on his own, because he is the where I collect.
Yeah, we got the
Wait a minute,
album
Tom.
of the week.
Yeah, that's what I said, Tom.
Okay, thought you were gonna do news of the week.
No, that comes later, Tom, and
Okay.
I'm doing news of the week this week, Tom.
Okay.
Tom is so easy to work with. So I was going to say, Tom, before we do LP of the week, I want to thank everybody who chimed in with their best, worst, or unfavorite. It goes on and on. I mean, the list is unending. Just one of many subjects that we tackle here on Once Upon a Time in Spaghetti Westerns. It always ends with our autograph of the week, book of the week, LP of the week, and then Tom does the weekly news. We give a thank you and a shout out to all the Spaghetti Western Facebook groups. And then we have another great show coming up for you next week. All right, Tom, what's our LP of the week?
LP of the week is another one that probably a lot of people have. It's a compilation album. It's called Violent Western Themes. Came out in 1985 on 7 Seas, which is a Japanese label, number K20P-4151, has 14 tracks. Value varies from $8 to $20. And that's the album of the week.
Well, album of the week is always cool, Tom. And then we always move on to our next part of the show, which is a favorite of everybody's. Everybody basically stays tuned for that. You know, listening to me yap for a little bit, I guess, is nice. But Tom, everybody wants to know what's been happening in the last week in Spaghetti Westerns, Tom.
Well, we finally got some decent news this week. First of all, there's a U.S. new DVD release, The Fighting Fists of Shanghai Joe, 1973 movie starring Chen Li, your buddy Klaus Kinski, Gordon Mitchell, Robert Hundar, Giacomo Rossi Stewart, directed by Mario Kano, released by our friends Wild East. It's Region O or 0, Spaghetti Western Collection Volume 65. Extras include vintage interview with director Mario Kano, picture gallery, a trailer. Was released on October 6th. Also, there's a new, I got a picture of it. There's a picture of the cover, which is basically the poster. And then we've got a new limited 7-inch vinyl release of Pastures of Plenty by Peter Tevis from UK's Trunk label, number TT015. It's basically a 45, 2 tracks released on October 9th, 2020. A little background on Pastures of Plenty. It was written and released by Woody Guthrie in 1947. This cover version of Pastures of Plenty by Peter Tevis, who's a California folk singer who lived in Rome in 1962, was arranged by Ennio Morricone. A few years later, Sergio Leone wanted Morricone to score his up-and-coming Western called A Fistful of Dollars. Legend has it Morricone wrote some music. Leone hated it. Morricone then played him this old single, and Leone wanted this music, but with a few melody a new melody over the top the rest of his film history. Then we've got some passings. Jay mentioned before Lemonade Joe. Well, the Czech actor Karel Fiala, known as the star of the film Lemonade Joe, died at the age of 95. He also appeared as a postmaster in the 1963 TV film The Noble Cowboy, Sandy or Gamble Bride. We also have French actor Simon Israel Hein, died September 30th, 2020 in Nice, France. He was 84, born in Paris on August 8th, 1936. He devoted his acting career to stage, where he performed in over 150 roles. He also appeared on television and films, where he made his only Euro Western in 1977 as Francis, his friend, in Another Man, Another Chance. We have a Romanian actor and stuntman, Myron Murray, died of complications from COVID-19. Careful, Jay. On October 3rd, 2020 in Bucharest. He was 76, born as Mircea Moreau in Barcani, Cavasna, Romania on November 8th, 1943. He appeared in over 30 films as an actor and stuntman and was part of director Sergei Nicolescu's stunt team. Myron appeared in 2 Euro Westerns, Blood Brothers, 1975 as a stuntman, and as a cowboy in 1981's Sing Cowboy Sing. This may be one, Cowboy Sing, Jay, may be worse than Karate Fist and Beans. It's a musical like Little Rita, so bear with me. Yeah. He was also the photographer in the extended version of 2001's Gershudis Manitou. Birthdays this week, we have Guy Pearce, who turned 53 on October 5th. Duncan Rager, Zorro fame, turned 68 on October 5th. And Evelyn Stewart, real named Ida Golly, turned 81 on October 8th. Shout out of the week goes to our buddy here, Jay Jennings, for toughing it out. He had to make it through the Once Upon a Time the Spaghetti Westerns podcast with a touch of the COVID.
Yeah, that's great, Tom. Yes, I'm in quarantine. Yeah, I've been here for 3 weeks. I haven't seen my wife and kids. It sucks. Anyway, so we have a couple people here. I've asked Tom. Let me show the, I guess people have asked. Tom's hat and shirt. Let me tell you how to spell my name. It's Jay. This is how you're making the checkout too. Anyway, no, Tom, that was the whole point. We do have shirt and hats. Tom, why don't you show them?
Sure we do.
Keep it on. You have to take it off. But that's pretty cool. You got the Once Upon a Time in Spaghetti
I ordered
Westerns.
this online from a store in Denmark. I'll look it up and put it in the Facebook credits. If you ask that through there, it'll be on Facebook. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
The shirt I just got off of Amazon. It's nothing special. The shirt that Jay's got, I did get. I'll give you the address and name of that one also. They're not cheap but you can buy one if you want. You don't have to buy a dozen.
$80.
That's
Jay. Let me give you my address.
At $80. Yeah.
$80. I sign everything. And anyway, so yeah, okay, cool. So thanks for asking about that. Yeah, they are available. The swag, so they say. So as
you just go in and pick out the hat and the color, and then you ask them what you want to put on it, and they'll do one hat if you want to buy one hat. So
right, his name is Dieter. Dieter
from Denmark, yeah.
Right, he's very nice. And how many do you want, Jay? 300. So anyway, so that's good news. That's the weekly news. And let's see, I think it's time to thank the people who helped make this show possible, Tom. Let's begin with Tom's Own Westerns All Italiana, 800 Spaghetti Westerns in Spain, Once Upon a Time in Italy, Spaghetti Westerns, a private group of John Delaney, Spaghetti Western movie posters, of course, Il Miglio del Western all'Italiana, Spaghetti Westerns Unchained if you collect Blu-rays, fanatiques de Western spaghetti in France. Of course, where would we be without opera?
Did you order, Jenny?
Violencia. Yeah,
Okay.
and Hulk Jinan and Hideko Uno are our two pals. What was that, Tom?
Nothing. I want to see if my daughter ordered a pizza.
Oh, she did.
I told her to order at 1:00.
Okay, that's good. So once again, we want to thank everybody for joining us for Once Upon a Time in Spaghetti Westerns, the podcast.
And next week we hope
Just
to
a
have
minute.
Tim Ferranti from the originator of WAI on. So
Yeah, Tom, I'm going to tell him all about it. Don't worry about
Okay,
it.
buddy.
Tom thinks I'm dying over here. But anyway, so if you've missed this podcast, you came in late, no worries. It is broadcast or archived on Facebook and YouTube. So it's also captioned, and has, I guess, the time code. You can see what we're talking about. You don't want to miss the only Spaghetti Western podcast on the internets. 21 episodes in. We got another 21 to go before our contract runs out, and then we'll be done after 42 episodes. So enjoy it while you can. Anyway, so Tom, you want to give a special announcement for next week's guest, please?
Well, we're going to try to pre-tape Tim Ferranti. He can't be on live because his wife works for ABC in New York, and she uses the computer during the day, especially when we're on Friday. So we're going to try and tape it Tuesday night and then rebroadcast it on Friday. And then we'll do our own stick at the beginning and the end. So we'll have to suffer through Tim twice. So say a prayer for us. Okay, Jay.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, Tim Ferranti, original founder of Westerns All Italiano, will be here to talk about the magazine, how he put it together, what he's doing these days, and we'll put together a little show of posters, and that'll be fun. And then in upcoming weeks, I think the week before Halloween, Tom, it's finally our Lee Van Cleef show.
Yeah, the 30th is the Friday, day before Halloween. We scheduled Mike Malloy to come on, and he wrote the biography of Lee Van Cleef, and he'll be with us to discuss Lee Van Cleef, his films and career.
Well, I'm just I'm looking forward to it, so it should be fun. All right, everybody. So for the great Tom Betts, I am Jay Jennings. We'll see you next Spaghetti Westerns time, same Spaghetti Westerns channel here on Once Upon a Time in Spaghetti Westerns. And adios, Tom.
Adios, amigos.